a green screen now.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I got a green screen. That's like pretty cool, right? So now I can do stuff like this. I feel very silly just dancing to nothing in my basement, but I can do that now. I've got a green screen. So the reason I'm making this video is because I made something look very ugly, and I feel like a deep emotional need to fix it and make it look better and not bad. Oh, hi. You started crawling on my jeans. Good baby. So pretend for a second, if you will, that you have this blank sketchbook and you're like, wow, I want to like paint something on it or draw something on it to make the front cover look nice and pretty and unique from my other sketchbooks. Stop biting my bracelet, because my other sketchbooks have stickers on them or labels, and I like a sketchbook that looks unique. I love having a friend. So I had this idea to set out and draw a cute little design on the cover of my sketchbook. But the thing was, in the first draft of this idea, that wasn't the as thought out one.
Am I talking to me?
I had the genius idea to just go in blind without any kind of sketch, and it looked bad. Here it is. Here's the thing that I was trying to do. Okay, I may have overhyped it, but it's still bad. I mean, look at it. What is that? I hate it. Hi, Tiger. Can we get back to filming the actual video? Or do we have to be the center of attention some more? Today, we are here to redeem ourselves. I was like, oh, I want to do a sketchbook tour soon. Should I just show it to them as it is? No. Which, yes, this means there is another sketchbook tour coming very soon. So stay tuned for that. I am going to make it so that I did not do the bad thing that I did. Hey, let me stop you right there. This part of the video kind of started to drone on a little bit, and I know none of you want to watch that. So this is all you need to know. I painted a stupid ghost on the cover of my sketchbook on impulse, and it looked bad. And now I am here to fix it. So let's get to the actual painting now. Roll and show, or whatever. Tiger is wandering around below me, trying to decide, whether or not to get on my lap. I guess I'll tell you about the art. To begin my adventure of repainting the cover of my sketchbook, I started by taping down the edges with masking tape so that I would get a nice crisp border once I'm done. Before attempting a rough sketch though, I added a nice layer of dusty pink over the cover of the sketchbook. That way I would have a nice base to start from. This is what I should have done in the first place with the first attempt, the atrocity, but I was too lazy. Once that is dry, we're now ready to sketch. So whenever I was recording the rough sketch, it didn't end up showing up too well on my footage. So instead have some cute footage of Tiger messing around and some quick cuts. That way we can get past that to the footage you can actually see. Up or down? Up or down? Ow! So with an acrylic painting like this, I like to work from the very background to the foreground because it's the easiest. So I started by painting a dark sky color. I mixed a dark blue with a black and this metallic turquoise that I had on hand, and I think it ended up looking really cool. You'll see later in the end, but once it was finished, it ended up looking really metallic, and it created a nice contrast with the matte of the rest of the acrylic paint. And after that, it was time for the clouds. For whoever saw my previous video, you'll know that I love clouds. So painting clouds in this illustration, it was just a ton ton of fun for me. I loved it. So I decided to stick with a mostly limited color palette for this piece, and by the end it was a very good decision because I'm still relatively inexperienced with acrylic paint, and it made it look really unified even though I'm not great at blending or anything like that. Also, I know the sky I painted doesn't exactly make sense, but no one's allowed to say anything about it because I think it looks nice, and that is what is important, so shh. So I really enjoyed using all of these pink and peach tones, and I tried a newer method of painting clouds, and I thought it was really nice because I was able to get a lot of texture in there with all the different tones and with the brushes I used. I thought that was just a lot of fun. Also, if you hear me wince and paint at any point, it's because my cat is using me as a scratching post again. You're not allowed to do that. What are you doing? Stop it. What are you doing? What are you doing? My co-host was being disruptive, so I had to move her to the back office.
Hi, editing Kira. I'm editing, and I forgot to say anything for this part. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say. I'm drawing some more clouds, and that's really nice. Clouds are great. That's it.
But oh, it looks like we're just in time for the part where I start adding the helmets in, and these were actually a lot of fun to paint. I used to have a trend in my art where I would add cyan rim light to pretty much everything in my drawings just to make the edges pop a lot, and doing that again in this piece was really nostalgic. Also, it just looks super nice. So last time I was at the Walmart, I picked up some of those 50-cent acrylic bottles, and I got some in a basic skin tone range, and that helped a lot with this illustration because it let me work from a skin tone base, and I didn't have to keep mixing a base over and over again. And I highly recommend having some skin tone bases if you like to paint skin, because if you don't remember how to mix them, it gets to be really hard with acrylic paint since it's not a long-lasting wet medium. It dries very quickly. So having something you can just use to blend whenever you need to blend is very handy. Now, I didn't do too much blending on this particular illustration, but I think it still helped a good bit anyways. But in a situation where you'd have to blend a lot, definitely a big help. So whenever I was on that same Walmart trip, I also got a nice pink color to use as a color for my hair in this illustration. And you might be thinking, your hair is not pink. And yes, you would be correct in thinking that, but it is normally pink. It is just the upkeep on my hair is just a little bit behind schedule right now, but hopefully I'll have it pinked again soon. Also, in case you haven't noticed, this illustration is of me and Tiger, my cat. I feel like it's probably pretty obvious. I don't have a good reason for drawing this. I just wanted to.
Hi, I'm back. I forgot to record anything for this part too. But yeah, I'm just working on the face. I'm adding some little peachy tones to the skin and everything. Some long eyelashes and pink hair. Just kind of cleaning everything up and making it look nice in general. The hair was kind of interesting to paint. I feel like it could have turned out better, but I do like the little highlights that I added. I guess those were, pretty nice.
So now, for the little spacesuit that I was wearing in this illustration, I kind of just did whatever. It could have been a little bit more intentional and planned out. I kind of just winged it, but I did get some help from some cute illustrations I saw on Pinterest, which helped a lot with the aesthetic of the spacesuit. You'll also see little hints of that cyan color I talked about come out in the spacesuit, because I obviously cannot help myself. Now, once I got to coloring what is supposed to be Tiger's fur, I had a lot of trouble. For some reason, I just could not get it right. You would think I see this cat every day. I should know what her fur looks like, but apparently I don't. I should have started with a gray color. I don't know why the first coat of paint was so dark, but it definitely does not look like my cat's fur. In my defense, she doesn't really sit long enough to be able to pose and model for me, so I have to work from photographs that have weird lighting, so that might have been the reason why. Although the reason why is really just me being too lazy to use reference in the first place. Once I started to clean it up, it definitely looked better, but unless I told you that was my cat, you might not have guessed it, so I didn't do the best job there. Alright, so now we have an art tip break. I get a lot of questions on my Instagram about how I work with acrylic paint because it can be a very confusing medium. So while I clean up the spacesuit and a couple of the fur things in the piece, I'm going to be sharing a couple of tips with you that helped me complete this drawing. As I said before, whenever you're doing a scene, it is easiest usually to work from background to foreground, but you also kind of work from least detailed to most detailed. I just personally find that to be the easiest. Make sure you have an undersketch if you're painting something pretty detailed, and make sure that you have a pretty thin first layer of paint. That way you can still see your undersketch while you're working in those thicker, more detailed layers. Speaking of still being able to see the sketch, it also helps to work in color blocks with lighting and shadow before going and rendering any heavily. And it also helps to keep tight within the lines of your sketch so that you can still see the details as you add more paint. As I said before, if you're new to acrylic paint, it also helps to work within a limited color palette. With this illustration, I didn't go much beyond, like maybe 10 colors maximum, and that's 10 individual tubes of paint. Most of the colors I used were sort of pink and in the same color family. I also recommend getting more than just primary colors in your supply of colors. Not every color can be mixed as vibrantly with traditional painting. You can find videos about what colors to buy whenever you're beginning with acrylic paint, but if you need a color, I recommend just going out and buying it to make it a little easier on yourself and work on learning how to mix paint as you go. Finally, if you want to do this stylistic thing, acrylic paint works beautifully with ballpoint pens and Sakura micron pens and stuff like that. So if you want to have that sort of graphic, almost digital looking style, you can start with a base of acrylic paint or Posca markers and then go over it once you're done with a ballpoint pen or a Sakura pen. It just gives a really crisp look to everything. I don't know, I love it. Now that the struggle of the cat fur is over, I just started finishing up the rendering on the spacesuit. To finish up, like I said before, I inked with a ballpoint pen and added in some cool details with that. Added a little bit more detail to Tiger, like stripes and her collar, and added in some of that nice cyan rim light I like so much. And finally, I added in a couple of extra details with some white deleter ink. I also painted a cute little NASA patch on my shoulder. I thought that was a nice touch. Taking off the masking tape damaged the cover of the sketchbook a little bit because I wasn't careful enough. Although, does that really surprise anyone?
Hi, I'm back again one more time. Just here's the illustration. There it is. You can see how metallic it looks. I think it looks really nice. What do you think? Comment below what you think. And that's pretty much it.
What's up? Miss Center of Attention was really good in this video. She helped me out a lot, so she's getting some treats now as compensation. Aww. Thanks for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making some art on the cover of my sketchbook. I don't know if you agree with me, but I think it looks a lot better now than it did before I did this. So I would call this a success. If you're interested in seeing the sketchbook tour of the sketchbook that I just painted on, that'll be out probably beginning of November, I'm hoping. I want to put some effort into that video and make it look really nice. If you enjoyed this video, you can check out other videos that I have done. They will be here. If you didn't like this video, why'd you watch this far? It's a little weird. In any case, there is a magical subscribe button you can push if you would so like to. Thanks for hanging out with me today and supporting my art. I'll see you guys in the next video.